Welcome back. You're watching All Angles, and the murder of an entire family in KwaZulu-Natal has shocked many. Today, that suspect will be in the dock. He's charged in connection with the murders of a family of 5 from Richmond. Their charred remains were found in their car earlier this month. His co-accused was released due to lack of evidence. Reporter Lethwiwe Madlala is tracking that story and joins us now for more. Lethwiwe, no doubt a story that really shook the nation in terms of its brutality, but has the matter been heard yet?
Well, Lethwiwe, for now, we're still waiting for the matter to be heard. I've been speaking to the prosecutor and some of the investigators in this case, and they are saying that they are now studying the docket, and once that has been completed, then they will be making a decision as to whether this matter will be sitting or not. Last week, we actually faced a similar situation at the Richmond Magistrates Court, where the suspect was making his first appearance. The matter was supposed to sit in the morning, but we ended up actually hearing the matter at around 4 in the afternoon, and that is because they were still studying the docket, and there also was a bit of information that was released to the family on that day, where they did announce that one of the suspects had been released due to the lack of evidence, and there was only going to be now one remaining suspect, and that suspect is of course expected to appear here at the Pietermaritzburg Magistrates Court. We're expecting for him to make his bail application, and one of the investigators was also saying that they're looking at reinstating some of those charges that he was facing prior to appearing in the Richmond Magistrates Court. You'd remember that we reported on last week that he was no longer facing kidnapping and murder charges, but instead was only facing a charge of theft or being found in possession of stolen items. But now they're looking into actually reinstating some of those charges that he was facing. We still don't know what new information or what new evidence has been presented to the magistrates or the prosecutors, but we will be hearing more information once the matter obviously sits in court.
No, absolutely, Lethwiwe. Just give us a sense of what the details of this particular matter are, because you've said that he was only charged with theft and now they're reconsidering the previous charges. So obviously, to just give the viewer a sense of the details of this particular case and what exactly it is he's accused of doing.
Well, you remember that last week, Monday, the police actually released a statement saying that the 5 family members had been found in Boston in a plantation. Those bodies were found there. This is following the kidnapping of the family, and obviously on Monday we found out that they had been murdered. The family members who are actually present here in court did say that they opened a case of kidnapping last month at around the 18th of November, where they were reporting to the police that their family members are missing. Following that, last week or last weekend on Saturday, the 2 suspects were arrested by the police, and then on Monday the discovery of the bodies was made. Now the police were saying that the bodies were discovered, and the car that was owned by the family was also discovered. So it's around that matter, and following that, the suspects did appear on Wednesday at the Richmond Magistrates Court, and during that appearance, the family was informed that unfortunately one of the suspects had to be released because there was not enough evidence against him, and they were also informed on that day that the remaining suspects will only be facing a charge of being found in possession of stolen items. But now, of course, they are looking at reinstating those kidnapping and murder charges, but we don't know exactly why that is, but we will be hearing, of course, from the court once that matter has been decided that it's going to sit here in the PMB Magistrates Court.
Finally, Lethwiwe, have you been speaking to any of the family members today? Are any of them present there for today's proceedings? What are they saying? How are they feeling?
Well, I actually had a chance to speak to 2 family members, one from the Ngobo family and also the Kuboni family. They're obviously devastated that this matter is, of course, delaying, and they are calling for the prosecutors and the investigators to do more. They are saying that they are not happy with how the matter is being handled, and the fact that one suspect has been released and now only one suspect remains behind bars. They're also asking a lot of questions as to how these suspects were released when shortly shortly after they were arrested by the police, the bodies were found, and they're alleging that it's actually the two suspects that pointed the police to the right direction as to where the bodies would be found. There are those questions by the family members saying that how can there be not enough evidence when these two suspects were actually the ones who pointed out where the car and the bodies would be found. So the family is not happy with how this whole thing is playing out, and they are hoping that, or they're saying that they're hoping that the remaining suspects will not be released and that those charges that he faced of kidnapping and murder will be reinstated.
Lethwiwe Madlala, they're tracking that story of a murder of 5 family members from Richmond. Of course, those court proceedings haven't started or gone underway, but as they do, we'll bring you the very latest in terms of that bail application and also the reasons that some of the previous charges against the accused will be reinstated. Let's bring you the story.